Hi, everybody, and today we're going to do a quick introduction to how to use Chat GPT in your classroom. Now, if you look at my screen, and I'm doing this on an iPad, you'll notice down on the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little icon that says New Chat. There's actually no app for Chat GPT. What there is this is a shortcut that I created on my iPad. It's going to look a little different if you do it on a PC or a Mac. And you do need to put in an email address and make an account, but use a school email address and you will be fine. So I'm going to click New Chat, and you'll get this launchpad, and they'll tell you some of its capabilities, limitations if you want to do a deep dive in here. There's also down on the bottom upgrade to plus if you want. We don't have to worry about that. So one of the things I really dislike doing, as far as teacher tasks, are some of the more menial tasks, such as making multiple choice tests. So I'm going to ask this for a 25 question multiple choice test on To Kill a Mockingbird. So I'm going to say, give me a 25 question multiple choice test on To Kill a Mockingbird. And I'm going to hit enter. Now, the first thing that happens is you'll notice that these questions are not particularly specific. And ChatGPT is sort of like the genie in the lamp. You have to be very specific with what it is that you want to ask. These are very basic questions. So let's say I want something a little bit more detailed. So this time I will say, give me a 20 question multiple choice quiz based on To Kill a Mockingbird. Oh, I should capitalize on, To Kill a Mockingbird, aimed at a 10th grade honors class that focuses on literary devices. And let's see what we get. To Kill a Mockingbird. So we get symbolism right off the top. Then we get theme. Then we get point of view. Now, would I give this directly to my students? I actually would not. I would go through, I would check it, I would make sure that the questions were appropriate, because every once in a while you do get sort of an odd question that comes out of ChatGPT. But here's one example of something that you can do that's very quick, very easy, and sort of useful to sort of free up some time. Now, I'm going to stop the generation here, but it would easily go through the 25 questions. And I'm going to go up to the top left, and you're going to see New Chat, and I'm going to click that. Takes us back to the beginning. But it does, in that left-hand little column, save all of your chats. You can clear the conversation if you want, but we're not even going to worry about that right now. So in this case, let's talk about a unit outline. So give me a unit outline for, again, To Kill a Mockingbird that covers 10 class days and addresses, sorry about that, class days, and addresses literary elements, major plot points, and plot points, characterization, and vocabulary. And I'm going to hit enter. And here we will have ChatGPT. And you notice it's as fast as your Wi-Fi connection is. So it's laying out an objective. Day one, introduce the novel. Now, is there anything here that's going to take the place of a teacher? No. Can you ask it to actually write a lesson plan for this? You can, but ChatGPT is never going to be able to convey this to the students or give, let's say, all of the nuance that you would want when teaching a major novel. But it can lay out some of this if you need to get this down for, let's say, paperwork's sake, or even better, if you're just looking for ideas. So I'm going to stop this right now. It's also really good at vocabulary lists. Give me vocabulary, what is it, 10? Give me 10 words for each, oh, I'm sorry, 10, you see, you have to be very specific, 10 vocabulary words for each chapter of To Kill a Mockingbird. And let's see what it does. Now, I should have started that in another, in another chat, but it's here and it's going right through it. So there's chapter 1. And again, this is something that you should go through and you should check and make sure that these are the words that you want to share with your students. But talk about a quick way of going through and looking for all of this information. And a good place to start if, let's say, you're going to a new novel and you want to actually, get some ideas. Now, I'm going to stop it again. It would easily do all 31 chapters. I'm going to stop the generation and I'm going to go to a new chat again. And let's go a second point here. Give me 10 essay prompts. And I'm going to even say 10 argumentative essay prompts based on the novel and I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this fast, Kill a Mockingbird. There we go. So here we have them. Does Harper Lee portrayal of Macomb, Alabama accurately reflect the racial tension of the American South in the 1930s? In what ways does Atticus Finch's character represent the struggle between morality and societal expectations in the novel? Now, would I use some of these? Maybe. Would I go through every one of them and maybe use them to peek an idea, peek into a new corner of the book that maybe I didn't see or that I hadn't examined before? Absolutely. Let's talk about a couple of other little things that you can do. So, let's say you need to write a speech. And this is one of those things where, it's sort of iffy because it's not going to personalize this, but let's just give it a try. So write a speech about a wonderful student in my 11th grade English class who is receiving an award. And here we go. It gives me immense pleasure to stand before you today. And, again, do I think this speech is the end-all be-all of speech writing? Absolutely not. What I do think is very interesting here is that it could give you some ideas and it could point you in the right direction, when you're trying to write a speech or write something and you're coming across that writer's block that inevitably happens to all of us. It's sort of an interesting starting point with all of this. Now, there's not a great deal of voice, there's not a great deal of personalization, but there is some interesting, building material that you can use to then create your own speech. Now, I'm going to go for another one. Another thing that I'm not a huge fan of is creating rubrics. They're very time consuming. So let's ask it to actually create a rubric. So sorry about that. My typing is not great on the iPad. Create a rubric for an argumentative essay that requires a counter argument and is worth 100 points. Spelling, grammar, and content should all count. Spelling, grammar, I'm going to also put it in writing style, as well. Oh, I missed it. Sorry about that. As well as content from the novel should count. The essay must also include 2 direct quotes from the novel for support. And let's see what we get back. And again, it depends on your Wi-Fi connection. It depends on everything. And every once in a while, it would actually not be a terrible thing if this one failed. Every once in a while, you'll get that the response does not work. So here we go. Clear and compelling thesis that takes a stance on the issue. well-developed argument with strong supporting evidence from the novel and outside sources, effective use of counterargument and refutation, coherent organization with logical transitions between paragraphs, language and style. So you see a really interesting thing. Now, again, am I going to use this directly? Probably not. But if I'm sitting there looking for something quick that I can put together for a rubric or I can use for an explanation for a last minute type of thing in class, this is exactly a way to save you some time and make your life just a little bit easier. Now, this is only my first jump into these Chat GPT videos. I'm going to put more in there just so, there'll be more content that you all can check out. I'm going to do one last thing. And again, this is what makes me sure that this will never replace teachers. I'm going to stop the generation. Oh, it's done. I'm going to start a new chat and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to write me a lesson plan. So give me a lesson plan for a 41-minute class dealing with the characterization of Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. And I'm going to be more specific, from the novel To Kill a Mockingbird. And let's see what we get. Now, again, it hasn't failed yet, but every once in a while it does. And here we go. Objective, sort of basic. Materials, sort of basic. And what I found is also sort of interesting is that it never gets the timing right. So I'm not sure if this will actually get to 41 minutes. The last time I did this and asked for a 41-minute lesson, it actually gave me one that was like 68 minutes or something like that. But if you look at it, it's a basic outline of what's going on here. There's not really, actually, let's see, what do we have? We have 5, 20, 30, 40. It gave 41 minutes. But let's be realistic about this. The mini lecture is the research you're going to have to do, that you're going to have to put into this, that you're going to have to add to it. The group activity, you're still going to have to be out there working with the students, but it does a pretty solid job, especially if you're a younger teacher and you're learning how to do lesson plans and put them together. This gives you some insight into what it is that you're doing and how to actually lay it out. Now, I mean, can it do really, really nuanced stuff? Not exactly. And I know people are worried that students will use this for, to write essays before they submit them into class. But it's really not something that I'm super worried about at this point, because at least in my district, this is blocked on most of their Chromebooks. Now, can they go outside of that? They can. But worst case, the kids can always write their essays in class and then later on type them up, so you know that it comes from them. And then ChatGPT becomes a really interesting tool that the students can use to critique the writing that they've done in class. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this short video. I'm going to do more of it just to let you know as I'm going through and discovering ChatGPT. And, keep an eye out. They'll be coming up on this channel. Thanks so much. Have a good night.